Model's here.
Hey, not you outside.
Yo, what up?
Can you trigger me up?
All right, bitch, I gotta go.
Alright, what's going on, Faded Culture? It's Sergio Barron, and we're back again with another haircut tutorial. Today I got my boy Joe Serna here on the chair, and I'm gonna be breaking down my step-by-step process on how to do a skin drop fade with a comb over on top. So I'm gonna be throwing in there a few tips on my shear work, and then after that I'll just show you how I do my clipper work. Before we start, make sure if y'all haven't already, go ahead and check out our Faded Culture store at fadedculture.co, where we have our straight razors, barber capes, and soon we'll be dropping them barber smocks. That being said, let's just get right into this video. All right guys, we're gonna start with our shears. To trim the top, since we are doing a comb over, I always tend to leave the front longer than the middle and the back, just for that same simple reason that we want this front area to kind of comb over this middle part of the hair. So for that, I'm gonna just start by sectioning out my profile section down the middle, and then I'm gonna cut in my first guideline. First, I'm gonna pull out my middle section right here, about a finger or about probably like 2 fingers in width. Sometimes guys, if y'all do have that stubborn hair that don't wanna stay away, you can just go ahead and grab some clips and just clip that hair out of the way. Right here, I'm gonna grab my first section and just give it a slightly little trim. And then we're just gonna move forward, and as we move forward, we're gonna create that cutting line that's gonna kind of imitate this direction. Now that that cutting line is set, we're basically just gonna match up the rest of the hair to that middle guideline right there. And we'll pull out a section right here, about a finger, or about like 2 fingers in width. And we're gonna find our guide. It's like right there in the middle, and we're just gonna even out the sides to it. And we're just gonna move forward all the way to the front. Find our guide right here in the middle, and match these 2 sides to that length. And you see, as we get to the front, you're barely gonna snip anything away, since we're trying to leave that front length longer. Now we're gonna move to the left side. We're gonna match the left side to this middle part of the hair, and then we'll follow that with doing the right side of the hair and matching that to the middle as well. Now all I'm gonna do is basically just kind of trim up anything that kind of hangs over where the fade will be. So I'll just kind of part down a hard line down the middle of his head, and then section out that head and pull it this way. And then once we get right here to about where his ear is, I'm gonna start to pull the cutting line outwards so that we leave this hair up here a little longer. So technically we're gonna cut in this direction, coming outwards from his head. Proceed with doing the same thing on the opposite side. As y'all can see on this side, it's already pretty short. There's not much cutting that I need to do. So I'm just kind of just go in there really quick and double check if anything does need to be cut. As y'all can see, my fingers ain't really grabbing anything. So now that we're done doing the trimming, we created the comb over shape. Now what I'm gonna do is kind of dampen his hair again. I'm gonna apply a little bit of a matte clay into the hair while it's wet, and then I'm gonna just kind of blow dry the hair into the direction that we're gonna want it to lay. And then to start the blow drying process, first I'm gonna start by drying the sides, and then I'll work my way up to the front, and then I'll just finish drying the middle. For the blow dryer settings, high airflow, medium heat. Make sure you have a vent brush, and we're just gonna work our way through that hair until we get it into the style that we're looking for. Now that we've blow dried the hair on top, next I'm gonna start the fading process. No guard on the clipper. I'm gonna make sure that lever is closed all the way, and I'm gonna lay down my first guideline right about where the temple peak area is, and then I'm gonna just make sure that first guideline slants as I move towards the back. I'm gonna just make sure I clean the clipper really well. Somebody in the comments said it was a good idea to show the clipper with no hair, that way it looks clean or whatever. And I like that criticism, so thank you for that. For the next guideline, I'm gonna go ahead and open the lever on the clipper all the way, and I'm gonna just come up about a finger length and width up higher than the previous guideline that we set. And we're just gonna make sure that it runs parallel to that first one. So now that that next guideline is set, we're gonna move forward with setting in our next guideline. And for that one, I'm gonna throw on the number 1 guard, and I'm gonna make sure that lever is still all the way open. And again, just like before, we're just gonna come up about another finger width and length. So now that we're done with that guidelines, I'm gonna throw on the number 2 guard with the lever all the way open still. And instead of setting in another guideline, we're gonna try to focus on trying to connect the side length to the top length. Still keeping in mind that we're only gonna come up about a finger length and width. Next, just like with the number 2 guard, I'm gonna throw on the number 3 guard still with that lever open, and we're gonna do the exact same thing, coming up about another finger length and width, just trying to connect the side length to the top. So just make sure that you're not digging the guard too much into the top length, because we don't want to take too much length off the sides right here. So just kind of flare out as you reach the curvature of his head. So now that we're done with that 3 guard neck, just to finish connecting the side to the top, I'm gonna go ahead and use my clipper over comb technique just to finish blending that in. All right guys, so now that we're done setting up the fade, you should be able to distinguish 3 guidelines, the top one, the middle one, and then the bottom one. We're gonna start by blending out the uppermost one and then work our way down. And for that top one, what I'm gonna use is that 1.5 clip, and I'm gonna position the lever to that 3/4 spot. And we're gonna use that guard and lever position to finish blending out that line all around his head. Keep in mind guys that the lever at that 3/4 spot is just what we're gonna attack the initial start of that guideline, but sometimes that might create little dark areas right above, and that's when you're gonna kind of utilize that lever play. So if you feel like you need to open the lever all the way and kind of just detail that part right there, and then go ahead and do so. You're gonna have to get used to using this lever in order to detail that fade as much as possible. But as soon as you're done detailing that out with the lever open, then you can just go back to the 3/4 spot and then just continue blending. And then just go back and forth between that lever until that top line is blended out. Now that we've taken out that top guideline, we're gonna move forward and start taking out that middle guideline. For this middle guideline, I'm gonna go ahead and throw on that 1/2 clip, and I'm gonna still leave that lever on that 3/4 spot. But just keep in mind that this guard will leave a little dark area in some spots right above, and we're gonna come back in a little bit with the 1 guard to finish taking it out. So for now, with this guard, you're just gonna focus on just softening the initial start of that middle guideline. So next, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and just continue to blend that middle guideline, but I'm gonna throw on that 1 guard, still leaving that lever on that 3/4 spot. So as y'all can see, that middle guideline is pretty much taken out. Next, all we're left here with is that first guideline that we had laid down. In order to take out that one, it's gonna take 4 lever positions on the clipper. First, starting with the clipper lever open a tad bit. Then we're gonna open it to that middle position, then to that 3/4 spot, and then all the way open. And I'm gonna just gradually open it as I move up on that line until it's completely blended out. So like I said, I'm gonna just focus on this side first, just because it takes 4 lever positions to take it out completely. And right here, I'm gonna just open that lever just a tad bit. Then I'm gonna just open that lever halfway and then just continue blending a little higher. And then we're gonna open to that 3/4 spot, continue blending. And then we're just gonna open that lever all the way open just to finish trying to tie in that line all the way out. All right, so now that we're done blending out that left side of his head, we're gonna proceed with focusing on the back side, blend out that line using the exact same lever positions, and then we'll move forward and finish taking it out on the right side of his head as well. And also keep in mind, guys, that I'm gonna leave all these steps down in the description in written format, so y'all can feel free to follow along that way if y'all like. I'll leave links to all the tools that I'm using in this video as well. So moving forward, I'm gonna focus on taking out the rest of the bottom of the hair. First, I'm gonna grab my trimmers in an upside down motion just so that we can get deeper and broader into the skin. And then when we come back and flip the clippers into the upright position and finish taking out the rest of the bottom of the hair, because we had the clippers upside down first, you're gonna be able to distinguish a little faint line, and that faint line is gonna serve as another guideline to just kind of let us know how high to come up with our electric shaver. So now that I've gone upside down on top of that bottom of the hair, I'm gonna finish by taking out the rest of it. And as I reach the top or the bottom of the hair now, I could even flare out a little bit just to kind of exaggerate and better see that little faint line that I was talking about right there. And then now we're just gonna come in with our electric shavers, and like I said, we're just gonna come up to that little faint line that we left behind. And also just keep in mind, guys, as you reach that little faint line, you're just gonna wanna kind of flare out with the electric shavers so that you don't create any hard lines into the fade. But if you do so happen to leave a little faint line above or whatever, just come back in with your trimmer and kind of blend it right out. So now that the fade is pretty much laid down, next I'm gonna go ahead and proceed with the touch-up work. The touch-up work is always gonna vary from client to client depending on the type of hair that they have. And I'm gonna also say that it also is gonna vary from barber to barber. And I'm saying that just because the definition of a good fade to me may be different from yours. So a good tip is kind of just keep the end in mind, and then you're just gonna kind of detail that haircut until you make that vision come true. With that being said, for his haircut, I feel like I'm gonna need, like on this side of his head, I'm gonna use the lever open with no guard, and then on the other side I noticed some dark areas that I'm gonna come back in with the half guard open to that 3/4 spot, and I'm gonna just kind of detail them out, and I'll kind of elaborate a little more as I'm detailing the haircut. So yeah, guys, so like right here, these little dark areas that I feel like I need to use the half. So it's basically no guard, lever all the way open, and I'm gonna just kind of go in there with the corner of the clipper to detail those areas out. And if you feel like you need to close the lever a little bit in some areas, then go ahead and do so. But one thing I will say, guys, is that as soon as you spot a dark area and you're kind of iffy about maybe using a certain guard, then I would say just kind of exaggerate by starting off with a high guard that you know won't cut, and then kind of work your way down using kind of like an elimination process. And until you actually hear the clipper doing some trimming is the kind of the guard that you want to use to kind of help blend out those dark areas. So see right here, next I'm gonna go ahead and throw on the half clip, and I'm thinking at that 3/4 spot I should be able to get rid of these little dark areas right here. Your detail work may take longer than usual, or than like it would for me, since I've been kind of doing this for a while now. But like I said, just take your time, get really familiar with the lever positions, and with due time, you'll be able to just kind of look at a spot and automatically know what guard and lever position you'll need. But for the beginning, you're just gonna kind of have to go through like that elimination process of just kind of starting with the high guard, working your way down until you see some cutting being actually done. That's pretty much it for the fade, guys. Next, I'm gonna move forward and start on the lineup work. Usually I spray spritz in the front, so y'all can go ahead and use some of that. But for those that don't have spritz in hand, y'all can go ahead and just grab some clips and just clip the hair out of the way, and then just kind of come in there and set it in with your trimmers. So here on this one, I'm gonna just kind of get a good visual of where I'm gonna want his lineup to be. And then I'm gonna start down the middle, work my way off to one side, create that box, and then just move forward by doing the same thing on the right side. So now that we've laid down the hard line with the trimmers, I'm gonna go ahead and start the shaving process. For the shaving process, I'm gonna go ahead and use our very own Fader Culture Matte Black Turkish razor. If y'all like to purchase one, I'm gonna leave it linked right here somewhere on top, and y'all can go ahead and check them out at faderculture.co. And if y'all do decide to purchase one of these, they are a little different from your standard regular straight razors. These, I like them because they're really thin. It might be a little awkward at first on how you slide the blade in through the front, but I'm gonna show y'all right here how I do it. So you grab a double-edged razor, you just snap it in half while it's in the package, and then you take out the razor. I like to snap off both of the sides, and then I just kind of quickly slide it in through the front of that razor. The razor holder, I mean. And then you just kind of set it at your preferred exposure. You could set it all the way down, or you could kind of expose the blade a little bit so you can better see what you're shaving. But there you have it, guys. faderculture.co, matte black Turkish razor. So first, guys, I like to shave down on most of the hair, and it also helps with taking out a lot of the shaving gel, the excess shaving gel. And then I'll shave up against the hard line, and then I'll also shave against the grain just to get a deeper shave. All right, guys, and he don't really do anything with his facial hair, so I'm gonna just kind of quickly come in with my trimmers, trim it out, and then with my electric shaver, just shave it. So that's pretty much it, guys, for the fading process. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my portable air gun. I'm gonna mix equal parts of dye with water in here. Just apply a little bit of dye on the edges of his edge up. Next, I'm gonna just go ahead and apply a little bit of matte clay onto his hair, and then I'll finish blow drying his hair, brushing it into the direction that I want. And I'm gonna just make sure that I am brushing it with a cool shot on the blow dryer, just to kind of help lock in the style that we're looking for. So that's pretty much it on this skin drop fade with a comb over on top. Really quick, I'm gonna show y'all the before, just so y'all remember what he looked like before he got the haircut. And then here's the after. I hope y'all guys enjoyed these steps. If y'all did, please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Make sure y'all don't forget to subscribe to the channel so y'all can stay tuned to all the videos that we drop weekly. And also let me know down in the comments what y'all did and didn't like about the video, or maybe how I can better help y'all. Or y'all can even give us some suggestions on what other videos y'all like us to cover on this channel. So with that being said, guys, my name is Sergio Barron, this is Fader Culture, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.